All right, so again, the first step whenever we graph, today we're only going to do sine and cosine, okay? The first step is figuring out where we start the wave. Because a sine and a cosine, everybody look at my hand, it's like it goes like this. That's what a sine, it looks like a wave, okay? So the first thing we're going to figure out is where do we start the wave, okay? Then we're going to look at where is the middle of the wave. And then the amplitude tells us how far we go up and down from the middle. Because again, it's a wave. It's just a wave. So let's start off with cosine. That's x. I want you to look at your unit circle. And if you look at your axes, realize that this is in radians. Okay. So we're not going to do the ones in the middle. We're going to focus on where we have a whole number. So we're not going to try to graph a root 2 over 2 or root 3. We're not going to graph that. We're going to start at the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so if you look at your unit circle, and again, we're talking about cosine. What is the cosine of 0 degrees? So we're going to start. This is right here. Where am I going to put my point? So looking at your unit circle, cosine is x. What is the cosine of 0 degrees? Who says 0? Who says 1? It's 1. Remember, cosine is x. Okay, so we actually start at 1. So let's put a point at 1. Then I want you to go to pi over 2, which is the top. What is the cosine of pi over 2? 0. And then the cosine of pi is -1. The cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. Oops, yeah. And then the cosine at pi over 2 is 1. So when we're talking about cosine, so this is, I'm just going to draw this real quick. This is 0. So we have our x here. This is my x values. So what are my x values at those points? Here, x is 1. Then x is 0, then x is -1, and then it's 0. That's my wave. When you graph a sine or a cosine, it's only 3 numbers. You just have to figure out, first of all, where is the middle? What's my height? How far up and how far down, okay? But this is the parent function. So we don't have any transformation, so that's why we can look directly at our unit circle. To find our amplitude, that's always the number in front. And this one has an invisible 1. That's my amplitude. The period is how long it takes me to get to the end. So it took me a full 2 pi to get back where I started. So that's why my period is 2 pi. Now the formal formula, or the official formula, this number right in front of x, we call that b. All right, that's also a 1 in the parent. So to find the period, you're going to take 2 pi over b. But in this example, b is 1, and 2 pi divided by 1 is 2 pi. Okay. This does not shift, because again, we're talking about the parent. So we don't have a horizontal shift. We don't have a vertical shift. My domain, every single sine and cosine wave, if you get anything right on February 3rd, it should be the sine and cosine domain. That will always be all real numbers. This never changes. So let's go ahead and go this direction, because this represents one full loop. but we have to fill in the left side, okay? Keeping in mind that cosine starts at the top and then goes to the middle. Where do you think I'm gonna go next at negative pi over 2? I only got 3 choices. We only got 2 choices, 0 or negative 1. 0, that's my next stop. Then where do you think I'm gonna go now? Negative 1. Then I go back to 0, and then I hit the top. So I was actually tutoring a student that graduated. I thought she graduated last year, but she said she graduated in 24. She goes to IUI. And one thing I was noticing that her professor had her write, which I kind of like, is cosine. You have to remember cosine, because there's 3 parts of your wave. You got the top of the wave, you got the middle, and you got the bottom. We have to remember, and as long as you remember that cosine starts at the top, then it goes to the middle, hits the bottom, back to the middle, and at the top. And that's something that he had them do. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I was like, I kind of like that, you know? So again, your wave is going to have 3 y values, just 3 y values. You're going to have the highest number, the middle number, the lowest number. And we have to remember that a cosine wave starts at the highest. Then it goes middle, low, back to middle, okay? All right, now let's talk, so my range, let's talk about range. What's my lowest y value? How low does the wave go? What's the lowest it hits? So bracket, negative 1. And what's the highest? Positive 1 bracket. Okay, so now let's talk about sine. Let's talk about sine. So, looking at your unit circle, the only thing different about sine is that sine doesn't start at the top. In my opinion, sine is the easier one to graph, okay? But what is the sine of 0 degrees? What'd you say? What's 0, right? Why is everybody looking at me like, oh no? Sine is y, right? Do you agree that sine is the y value? So what is the y value of 0 degrees? It's 0. So sine starts at 0. It starts in the middle. Then at pi over 2, the sine is positive 1. Then at pi, the sine is 0 again. At 3 pi over 2, it's negative 1. And then we end at 0. So the reason why I think sine is the easiest is because we hit the middle 3 times. And we just have to know that between here, I'm going to go to the top. And between here, I go to the bottom. That's why I personally think sine is the easier of the 2. Okay. So again, just like cosine, the amplitude is 1. Your period is 2 pi. We don't have a horizontal or vertical shift. My domain is all real numbers. And my range is negative 1 to 1. So you have to go this direction now. So when I was thinking about, okay, I've been teaching this a long time. What is a big mistake? A big mistake is that everybody can do this wave, but it's hard for them to go to the left. So don't write this down because this is wrong. Some people do this, but that's not how the wave will go, right? Because if I'm at 0, where am I going to go next? Because it's a wave. So where I should go, because this wave is going down, that should be a negative 1. So I should go down, then back to the middle, to the top, back to the middle. And that is your parent function. Again, I also want you to notice something important. I did not put any arrows on this graph. And if you do, I am taking off a point. Why don't I put arrows at the end? What does an arrow mean? That it's going to continuously go up. But does this graph go up any higher than 1? No. And does it go lower than -1? No. So you should not put arrows on these graphs. No arrows. Just leave it like that. All right. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of transformations. All right. So now we're adding some juice to it. The number in front is a 3. And I'm also going to have you all for this one. So this one can fit. Let's change that to a 1. Change that to a 1 at the end instead of a 2. Because I want it to be able to fit. Okay. My amplitude is 3. To find the period is 2 pi over b. And b is the number in front of x. So the invisible number in front of x is 1. 2 pi divided by 1 is 2 pi. We don't have any horizontal shift. Let me go back. I'll come back in a second. I want you to look at what we wrote. A horizontal shift, you would have to set, that means that is my start. And, wait, hold on. Sorry, guys. And because we don't have any parentheses, I'm going to start at 0. So if you don't see a parentheses in your function, we start at 0. All right. We will have 1 where we actually move our start. Okay. Now, let's talk about the horizontal shift. We don't have one, so that's no, NA. Vertical shift, that is your K value. What do you think K is in this function? What's the number at the very end? 1. So because it is 1, this entire wave is going to go up 1. Which means that my new middle, I'm going to graph the middle. The middle of my wave is going to be right here. Now that's if you want to kind of put a dashed line to help you, but that's my middle. That's the middle. Okay. The domain we already know is all real numbers. Okay, so remember, a cosine starts at the top. So I'm starting here. This is my start. This is my end. I'm going to erase these highlighted lines in the middle in a minute at the end. Okay, so here's my start. Here is my end. Okay. Cosine starts at the top. To find the top, go to the middle. And what's my amplitude?
3.
Hop up 3 from the middle. 1, 2, 3. So your first point is going to be all the way up here. Again, everybody look at me. You start at the middle. But for a cosine, the amplitude tells you how far to go up. Okay? So because that's a 3, I'm going to hop up 3 from the middle. Not from 0, from the middle, which is 1. So hop up 3. 1, 2, 3. So we got our first point right there. Okay. All together, if you were to count, this is 8 hops. So when the period is 2 pi, every 2 hops, I'm going to put a point. So 2 hops, pi over 2. So for cosine, we start at the top, and then where do we go? We don't have any choice but to go to the what? We can't go any higher than the top, so we have to start doing what? Going down. So we're going to go to the middle and to the bottom. So right here at pi over 2, put a point at the middle, which is where I have highlighted blue. And then I'm going to hop twice, 1, 2. Now I'm here. The amplitude will tell me how far I need to go down So I go up 3, and I'm also going to go down 3. So here at pi, go down 3. 1, 2, 3, put a point right there. Remember, you're only graphing 3 numbers over and over again. 3 numbers. So now we figured out our 3 numbers. Our only y values are going to be 4, 1, and -2. So now we're going to, now that we're at the bottom, we can't go any lower, right? So what are we going to start doing? We're going to come back to the middle. So we're back to the middle. And then we end at the top. Okay. So now that we have that, let's go the other direction. I'm at the top, can't go any higher. So when I hop twice, I'm going to hit the middle. So here, hop twice, 1, 2, go back down to the middle. Put a point right there. All right, then I'm going to hop twice, 1, 2, go to the bottom. And where did we say the bottom was? -2. Put a point right there. And then at -3 pi over 2, I go back to the middle. And then I end at the top. Go ahead and connect it. No arrows. So what happened was we had 2 transformations. The wave got taller and it moved up. What's my lowest y value? -2. So my range would be bracket -2. And what's the highest? 4. And that's it. The hardest part is remembering the pattern, because there's only 2 patterns. Either you're going to start at the top, go to the middle, bottom, middle, back to the top, or we're going to start at the middle. So now let's do a sine. Let's look at sine. I'm going to add some transformations. So the first thing is, where is the middle going to be? -1. So I like to draw that in. Wait, let me go ahead. And you don't have to erase it, but I am going to erase. Okay, so. But I do like to put a line in where the middle is. So for here, the middle is -1. So I'm going to put a line there at -1. What is the amplitude? Okay, so because it's -1, my vertical shift is down 1. All right, what's my first number? What's the height? How far up and down am I going to go from the middle? 2. So my amplitude is 2. So remember, that is the distance. We're talking about distance. So amplitude is the distance from the midline. So my amplitude is 2. I'm going to put that here. So we're doing all the easy ones today. There's an invisible one right here, which means my period is 2 pi. And I don't have any horizontal shift yet. All right, so now I think sine is the easiest. So we don't have any shifts. So I'm starting here and I'm ending at 2 pi. Nothing shifted. Okay. My period is 2 pi, so that means I'm going to put a point every 2 hops. So starting here, where does sine start? Does sine start at the top, the middle, or the bottom? Look at your notes. Look at sine. Sine starts where? The middle. So the reason why I like sine is because I just put down I put a point here, and I put a point here, and I put a point here. So for sine hits the middle 3 times. So I put down all 3 of my points. So at 0, at pi, and 2 pi. Then between these two, I'm going to go to the top. And my amplitude is 2. So if I put my pencil here at the middle, I'm going to go up 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So this is the top. The top would be at 1. Again, how did I do that? Figure out where your middle is, and the amplitude tells you how many hops you go. My amplitude for this one is 2, so I'm only hopping up twice. The last one, it was 3, so I hopped up 3 times. All right, and then between here and here, I'm going to hop down 2. 1, 2. Go ahead and put a point. That is your entire sine wave. So your wave looks like this. Now the hardest part is you figuring out what goes on the left. So I want you to try to finish out the left. I'm gonna come around and see. So you have to figure out, based off the pattern, where are you going next. It should look like a nice wave. Okay. Oh, I don't know how I put that at the end. That was confusing. Take that off because we don't go back down. It goes like this. All right, so then go in this direction. You should go back down to the bottom, hit the middle, top, hit the middle. That's my graph. Domain doesn't change. All right, what's the lowest point that my wave will go? -3, good. And what's the highest that the wave will go? 1. That's it. That's all you gotta do. All right, we're only gonna do one more and then we're going to end for today. I'll show you your test. All right, so let's look at the next one. Now this one, I'm gonna warn you, it's not gonna fit on the graph, so we're gonna have to bootleg it a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so what is my amplitude, everybody? 3, period. This is B right here. So period is 2 pi divided by 1. And what is 2 pi divided by 1? 2 pi. Now we do have a shift because we have a parentheses. So to find our start, because we're not going to start at 0 this time. Take your parentheses, set it equal to 0, and solve it. Pi over 2 is just a number. If it was x plus 3 equals 0, what would you do? Would you add or subtract? You would subtract. So my new start, because x equals -pi over 2, that means I'm going to go left pi over 2. So I'm going to actually draw that in. So I would normally be here for the beginning, right? But now I'm moving it to here. So I'm going to actually draw that in. So now I'm starting here. And because my period is 2 pi, 2 pi is 8 hops. Just try to remember that. So from here, I want you to hop 8 times to find the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I ended 3 pi over 2. So my entire first wave is going to be between those walls. What is my vertical shift? Or my midline? My midline is at -2. I'm going to draw that in too. And then we're going to start our wave. Now we're doing another sine, which again I feel is my favorite, because a sine starts in the middle, hits the middle in the middle, and ends with the middle. Okay, so right away, I can put down 3 points. I can put a point here. Oh, why did I take away my other wow? Let me put that back. I can put a point here. And I can put a point directly in the middle. What angle is directly in the middle of my 2 green walls? Kamaya said pi over 2. Who agrees that it's pi over 2? Yep, so I can put a point right here in the middle. I already got 3 points. Now, I need to go in between my first and third point. Well, I'm calling this a third. Between these 2 points, I have to go up. Okay? So between here, I need to go up. When I hit to this point right here, how many hops up do I go? What's my amplitude? 3. So from this point, go up 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're right there. And then between these 2 points, we go down 3. So between here and here, I go down 3. So that would be at pi. So at pi, I'm going to, and this is where we got to bootleg it. This is what I was trying to say. Our graph doesn't go down. It's not big enough. So we got to go down 1. Sometimes my little laser pointer wants to work and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. But from this point, go down 3. So that's going to hit me off our grid. And that would be 1 revolution.
That's fine.
Yes.
Can you explain how the negative pi over 2 and the 3 pi over 2?
Okay, so this tells us where to start. I already erased it. So to figure out your left wall, you take your parentheses, set that equal to 0. And when I did, I got negative pi over 2. Which means that instead of starting here, I have to go left pi over 2, which is right here. That's my start. The period is 2 pi. Tomorrow we're going to graph periods of pi. That's always 8 hops. So between here and here is 8 hops. Tomorrow we're going to have our walls 4 hops apart. Today we're doing 8 hops apart, okay? All right, so what is my, go ahead and finish your graph. Finish it out. When you do your graph, you have to cover the entire grid. You have to fill the entire grid. It is really hard to find a trig grid, which is why I just couldn't find anything higher than 4. This is what I'm looking for on the test. To get full credit, your entire graph needs to be filled. All right, what is our domain? Our real numbers. And I know we have to bootleg it, but what is my lowest y value? I had to go down 3, so what would that be? Negative who?
5.
Negative 5. So again, I'm talking about this part. So I had to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then the highest I go is here, which is what? What's the highest? 1. All right, so we're going to end there for today. And tomorrow,